Hey everyone! Today we're heading all the way up to the roof. Today we'll take a look at why the REISSER cleat screw really stands out in practice. And not in the lab, but directly on the construction site. Together with the Sautter sheet metal workshop from Bretzfeld. They're going to show us how things are usually done, and of course how it can be done better. This is professional expert Daniel Sautter, and today he's going to demonstrate for us in detail the different methods for fastening cleat.
So as you can see, hand nailing naturally takes the longest. The risk is just way too high that you'll miss with the hammer and end up denting your sheet metal. Then you have to go back and straighten everything out again, and possibly even have to tear out the cleat again. That's the worst option.
When you look at it with those nails,
Yeah.
they fly away faster than popcorn in a strong wind. Remember, 1 cleat, 3 nails.
Now we're already working a step faster, namely with the pneumatic nailer.
Yeah.
The main issue with the whole thing is that right from the very beginning, you're going to need a compressor.
Yeah.
You also need the pneumatic nailer itself. Of course, the nails, that's obvious, and a whole lot of hose. Because who wants to lug a compressor up here to 8 meters high? It's best to just leave it down there.
Exactly.
You might need 50 to 100 meters of hose if needed.
And speaking of hoses, up on the roof, you get tangled up faster than in a bad Western.
Plus, those things are also a bit high maintenance. And this is the third option. All of this, of course, without a hose, which is definitely a big advantage. The annoying thing about it is, we're working here with gas cartridges that are inside. Normally 1 cartridge is supposed to last for a whole pack, at least that's what they say, but that's usually not the case. And the annoying thing is always when you have to change them. First, you don't know if it's really empty or if it's still full. You can't really tell. That's why my guys just take them and usually throw them away, because they don't work anymore. The problem is also that when we work with fuel gas here, we generate quite a lot of dirt in the combustion chamber itself. And what happens then is that the nailer occasionally gets jammed at the front here.
So there's a susceptibility to malfunctions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, you also have to change the nails every time, just like the gas cartridge. Of course, that's also time-consuming.
Yeah, like you said, changing them takes time. Time is money. And here, of course, even though it's almost empty, we have a pressurized container. And disposing of that is obviously not entirely without risk. And let's be honest, Daniel. Every construction site ends up with a whole bucket full of empty cartridges. They all have to be collected, emptied, and properly disposed of. So much for the topic of sustainability.
And most of the time, they're also just lying around on the scaffolding or on the ground.
All right, Daniel. This is now the REISSER cleat screw. And this one does a lot of things differently now. This one goes straight into the wood. No cartridge, no pneumatic nailer, no hassle. Let's try it out now.
I'm really curious, Armin.
Thanks to the optimized tip on this screw, it immediately bites into the wood. And the best part is, instead of 3 nails, you only need 2 screws.
That's awesome, Armin.
And now comes a point everyone knows, but hardly anyone talks about. What actually happens if the cleat isn't positioned where it's supposed to be?
Yeah, I have to say, Armin, when you are nailing things, it's always a bit of a nightmare. Because in the end, there is no other way to get those stubborn nails out of the wood except by using extreme force. And you almost always end up destroying the cleat, and in the worst case, even your entire row.
Oh dear.
Which you then have to replace afterwards, replace again.
So Daniel, that's more demolition than correction.
I agree with you there.
You see, Daniel, with the REISSER cleat screw, it's a simple matter that takes just a few seconds.
Yes, I agree with you, Armin. It's simply unscrewing the screw, repositioning the cleat, screwing the screw back in, and you're done.
No force needed.
And nothing gets damaged.
Daniel, and that's really the result. A screw connection can be corrected. If you use nails, it's always destructive. Daniel, you can clearly see speed, precision, maintenance, environment. The screw wins the race.
And in the long run, you also save yourself a lot of nerves.
All right, folks, I'll be completely honest. Whether it's renovation or new construction, if you want to install clips stress-free, safely, and cleanly, there's no getting around the REISSER cleat screw. A cordless screwdriver is all you need.
And I'll say it like it is, Armin. I think I'm only going to use those from now on.
That really sticks, in every sense of the word. and we'll see each other at the next torque. And before we pack up completely, for substructures with random fiber matting, there's one thing you need to know. For this specific task, you will need a much longer screw. And of course, you can conveniently purchase those from us here at REISSER as well.
Exactly, Armin. With the right length, that's no problem either.
And then we have a special case, the chipless cleat screw for sheet metal. No chip waste, no scratching of the surface where rust could later develop. Simply clean. So Daniel, whether it's wood, random fiber matting, or sheet metal, there's a suitable cleat screw for everything.
And the best part, Armin, one cordless screwdriver, done.